Silent Hill 2 is not only considered one of the best of the series, but also one of the best horror games of all time. And as someone who's only played Silent Hill 4 The Room and Silent Hill PT, I was excited to see what the hype is about. Even though I'm still salty we never got that Hideo Kojima Silent Hill game, which would have been crazy by the way, and not to mention the $70 starting price tag, I was going into this with a bias, so let's see. In Silent Hill 2, you play James Sunderland, whose wife Mary died 3 years ago from an illness, yet mysteriously you received a letter from her saying to come find her in Silent Hill, a town perpetually enveloped in fog that you vacationed to in the past. And you do so like a vandal, smashing every window in sight and stealing all the town's medicine and bullets. But besides hoodlum activities, the thing most curious to me is your level of apathy yet determination. Despite the fact you were exposed to a bunch of other weirdos trapped here with you, as well as a plethora of monsters ranging from the vanilla zombie type to what the fuck is that? Somehow your attitude always seems to be, it is what it is. Better grab this perfectly pulled indestructible nail bat off the wall and start beating up monsters. I mean, I get it. The dude lost his wife, and that kind of event changes your entire personality and view on life. But like, a key at the bottom of a poop-filled toilet? I'm probably at least going to look for a stick or one of those dinosaur bitey toys first before sticking my arm in there. And those monsters, by the way, some of the most unsettling, freaky designs I've seen in gaming. And I don't mean freaky like all the R34 content of the nurse monsters, which by the way, why? I'm talking about like this giant cage flesh bag with a crotch mouth that turns into a metal spider thing? Who even comes up with stuff like that? And like James meets Pyramid Head for the first time, one of the most iconic entities in the series. He cuts a bunch of low-tiered monsters up and then squares up in your face, and you tried to shoot him in his metal face. Not the fleshy part below, but yes, the metal pyramid helmet thing. And you thought that would work. Not like shooting him in his body really does anything anyways, but I bet it does more than shooting him in the helmet. Thankfully though, he walks through a door to the other world, but your reaction is, damn, that thing was monstrous. I'm lucky to be alive. I should follow him through that door in case my wife is there though. Or I should jump down this big hole, stick my arm in this hole, bloody trail, I'ma crawl through that hole. Basically, James is completely unfazed by monsters and holes. And that's not to say I want him to be this scared whiny baby the whole time, because that would be really annoying. It's just kind of odd seeing how non-reactive he is to the whole situation. Apart from one scene at the end where he explodes out of nowhere, and that caught me way off guard because I didn't even know he had teeth before this scene. But I get that this is all reflective of his personality warped by trauma. James, along with the other characters of this game, have sins in their past they are running away from, trying to block out the bad memories, finding escape through distractions, or hyper-focusing on purpose over safety. But despite how they may try to ignore them, they are constantly reminded and tormented by the town manifesting their nightmares into life. And the game's visual and sound design creates an atmosphere that is relentlessly tense and unsettling. Normally in horror games, I spend the first hour or two overly cautious over every sound, and at times walking a snail's pace in anticipation of jump scares and enemies. However, there comes a point where that goes away and I'm just running through yelling, "Come at me, bro," because I've learned the mechanics of the game and know its limitations. But in the Silent Hill 2 remake, I never had that confidence. The game does a good job of using an array of tension-building horror techniques that don't heavily rely on jump scares and music cues. The radio static that builds the closer you are to enemies, the sound of something scurrying nearby, suffocatingly tight enclosures with low visibility, and then a glimpse of something moving in the distance. But then the thing I mostly blame are these four-legged freaks. They hide behind random corners, they don't trigger the radio sound warning of monsters subverting expectations, some of them crawl on walls, and you just never know where one is going to be. But as much as I hate them and how silly I think their design looked, they honestly were responsible for the majority of my heart rate spikes. And they are probably one of the strongest horror elements I've seen lately. Everything in this universe is creepy and disturbing, but these things are downright anxiety-inducing. The only actual critique I have for this game is sometimes it's confusing what to do next. There were definitely a few puzzles that I wasted 20 minutes on brute forcing because I wasn't sure the real way you were supposed to solve it, so I defaulted to monkey brain tactics. But that might just be me. I already know I'm not the brightest gamer out there. I mean, I had to look at my map 311 times because of how often I got lost. An actual metric, by the way, they tell you at the end of the game, which is kind of mean. But regardless, I still had a ton of fun playing this remake. I can't comment on how faithful it was to the original game since I never played it, but at least as a standalone game and from the perspective of someone with little knowledge of the series, it was absolute cinema and honestly makes my top 9 in horror games, and was well worth the $70 price tag I was wary about. So if you want to play this game for yourself, I'll have a link in the description below, and while you're down there, don't forget to like and subscribe for future content from me. I'm experimenting with more long format content, but I also do a short series where I describe the plot of a game in under a minute. They're fun and like 70% accurate, so go check them out. Anyways, that's all from me. I've been Penginsaurus. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.